Good afternoon, everyone, and we start with the class. So last time what we were discussing was where we left was about the compensation. I don't know how many of you remember. I tried to share something with you so that you can link the way the sales process goes or the organization and the various factors along with your daily life. And let me see if I can show that to you. So this is the, at any point of time, if you have any concern, views, opinion, criticism, please unmute yourself and speak. If you can't see the screen, then also let me know. So this is what I had shared with you last time. And I'm not saying that this is exactly correct, but this was just an attempt to help you understand that how can we correlate the two. So I had said that exams, so sales territory is like, and sales quota are like exams, which are the same for everyone. However, how you perform in the exam depends on your performance, which is a product of motivation and training. Similarly, so your sales territories and quotas are the same. However, how you achieve your sales quota, how you perform depends on your motivation and training. The result right now are the marks, which result into grades. In the sales organization, the result is compensation, and therefore different salespeople at the same position may get different compensation. This finally results in evaluation. So in your case, it may result into a letter of recommendation, best outgoing student, or some other prize, or it may just be, hooray, we are getting rid of the student. Similarly, in the sales organization, that may further result in your promotion, that may result as your best salesperson, the company may identify as you as a star performer or a laggard, and therefore your growth in the company or your journey in the company may come to an end. So we have discussed sales territories, we have discussed sales quotas, we have discussed motivation, we have discussed training, and last time what we were doing was discussing compensation. And therefore, today I will take the conversation forward about compensation. When we were discussing about compensation last time, I had shared a board with you in which you people had shared your opinion about what is compensation, and it was really, really interesting to read how people had put forward their views. I had shared it with you on your Google Classroom. Please do go through it. And if I summarize what people had said, it was, give me a minute. So we had discussed, it boils down to this. It's very important that your compensation is something which takes care of your basic needs, of your basic necessities. Unless and until the compensation takes care of the basic needs and necessities, you cannot motivate the salesperson, because go back to Maslow's hierarchy, go back to any motivation theory, your basic needs need to be satisfied. At the same time, the compensation program should be fair. Now, what does fair mean? It means that it should be able to distinguish between performances. And thus, we had last time, if you remembered, I had shown you this particular example where there were two salespeople and both had been given the same sales quota. However, when we figured it out, we saw that salesperson number 2 has done better than salesperson number 1. And therefore, though it was the same sales quota for them, when actually the marks were allocated or when actually the result came out, we found that salesperson 2 has scored more than salesperson number 1. Obviously, it results in a different compensation plan. It also results in identifying the difference between salesperson number 1 and 2. And maybe if I put it very broadly, salesperson 2 can be identified as a star performer and salesperson number 1 becomes a core performer. So as I said, it should be fair. It should be fair so that we groom the leaders of tomorrow. It should be fair so that we provide opportunities. It should be fair so that laggards who do not perform in spite of providing opportunities can be asked to leave. Obviously, it should be easy to understand. When I say economical to administer, it means that yes, it should be in sync with what your competitors are doing. However, at the end of the day, you have to see your own organization. You have to understand what is feasible for your own organization, and then accordingly make your compensation plan. Add everything or multiply everything together. It helps in attaining objectives of the organization. This is a very interesting thing which I picked up from some book. I don't remember. I mean, I have combined 2-3 books and just put it together. And it says a good compensation plan helps in retaining quality manpower. Yes, extremely important, because please understand, every organization, and I say this I think a billion times, is not just for today, but for tomorrow. And when it is for today and tomorrow, then you have to groom the leaders for tomorrow also. It should reduce the attrition rate. How will the attrition rate reduce? If the people feel that you are fair. The equity theory of motivation. Most of the time when we are upset, most of the time when we feel that things are not fair, it's because we feel that the theory of equity hasn't been used, which means that there has been a difference in treating two people. It should obviously motivate your salespeople, and therefore it should have a good reward system also in the company. I like the sentence. It says it should address the short-term as well as the long-term issues. Short-term is what I'm getting today. Long-term is what is my future in the company in the next 2, 3, 4, or 5 years. While survival is a short-term issue, recognition and growth in the company and career are long-term issues, which means that compensation plan is not just about today, it's also about tomorrow, which means compensation plan is not just quantitative, it is qualitative. And as I said, of course, you should know what your competitors are doing, but at the end of the day, you should be aware of what is the economic position of your own company. So, as I said, it has to be financial as well as non-financial. Please understand, when I say awards and promotion, it may be non-financial, but it actually results in financial thing only. So when a person gets a promotion, his salary increases, he gets other benefits, which translates into a financial thing. Now let's understand the different divisions of compensation plan, because at the end of it, I'm going to give you a little mini exercise, and let's see if you understand or if you're able to do that or not. So the first one, straight salary, absolutely simple, which means that at the end of every month, you get the same amount, whatever it is, amount X. Now you would, and this is, I'm not just specifically talking about a sales organization. Right now, I'm trying to help you understand that in the corporate sector, what kind of salaries exist. So one is straight salary, which means, as I said, at the end of the month, you get a fixed amount, whatever it is. Now you would say, why would there be a straight salary? Now someone who's working as a receptionist, I mean, the job is not really, how does that person ensure that he or she gets more calls or less calls, or, you know, it is a job where it's a very regular job, where the goals are sort of very defined, where there's not so much dependent on the changing market scenario or anything. And in such a situation, you have a very, very straight salary plan. Can we have this for a salesperson also? In some organizations, yes, you do have it for a salesperson also, where most probably the product is a very, very mature product, where it is very easy to sell the product. The salesperson doesn't really have to do any effort to sell the product. In such cases, you may have. But overall, in sales organizations, you never have only a straight salary plan. Very, very less. I mean, hardly. What you So while this is straight salary plan, if you remember in one of the HBR articles, we had discussed about that when you're starting the business, and I think one student in one of the classes also asked me later that if I'm just starting a business and we have very limited money, then how do I pay my people? And we had discussed that you can have people only on commission basis, which means that you sell, you get the commission. If you don't sell, you don't get the commission. So I'll come back to this later. So the second is a commission plan where you sell, you get the commission. If you don't sell, you don't get the commission. So, you know, LIC agents, so this is how they are working. Is this used in the sales organization? Well, if you have employees, then only commission plan really doesn't work. I mean, then you are not using the theories of motivation. Then how are you providing them with at least the basic needs? How are you taking care of their basic needs? But yes, if you have agents, which means who are not employees of your organization, which means they're working with other companies also, then this is a commission plan, which means you sell and you get the commission. If you don't sell, you don't get the commission. Let me take a break at this point of time and come back to the students. Any doubt or anything which is not clear till now? Anything, please let me know before I proceed further and start discussing in detail about the different types of compensation plans. Okay, so I assume that all of you are clear with what we've spoken up till now. Let me resume my presentation. So what can be the various types of commission plans? So it may be, you know, you get a commission based on the volume you generate or the profit you generate. It can be, now this is very interesting, it can be constant, progressive, or a combination. It can be split between a team, or it can be only between, it can be, you know, only for a person and so on. However, let me come to constant, progressive, or the combination. Again, when do you pay the commission? This is a debate which goes on. When the order is confirmed, or when the order is shipped, or when it is billed, or when it is paid. This is a debate which constantly happens in every organization. So for example, when the order is confirmed. Now, confirmation of the order is great. I mean, the salesperson has done the job. What else will he do? However, it may so happen that the client may cancel the order. What do you do then? So then, most probably, we should pay the commission when the order has been shipped and billed. Or somebody says, no, when the client has paid, then you should give the commission. Now, that's another extreme. You all know that in organizations, in the business world, it all works on credit. So I may have sold the goods today. However, the payment may come after 30 days or 60 days. Then is it fair that I'm stopping the commission of the salesperson? It's not really fair. He got the order and the order has been shipped now. It has been billed. If the payment is coming after 30 days or 45 days, that's because of the credit policy of the organization. Why should we stop his commission? And therefore, usually there's no confirmed rule. There is no fixed rule when the commission is paid, but usually in organization, it is paid in such a manner that neither it is in favor of the salesperson, nor is it in favor of the company, and therefore it is usually paid when the bill has been raised. Whenever the amount, so the salesperson has done his job, at the same time, the company also, whenever they get the payment according to their credit limits, so it's confirmed that the payment is definitely coming. Now, when I said, so look at this sentence, I'm interested about this, constant, progressive, and combination. Sorry. So let's understand, what do you mean by constant? So obviously constant is when, it's a constant rate, right? It is that, so you sell 10 units, you get so much. So I wish I would draw the graph for you later and show you. However, what is progressive? Progressive rate is that You sell 10 units, so you get 10%. You sell more than 10 units, you sell between 10 to 20 units, then you get 15%. You sell between 20 to 30 units, you get 20%. So it's constantly, there is a progression which is happening. Now, why would you do this? You would do this because as the number of units increases, we understand that the effort required to sell them also increases. And if the effort required to sell them also increases, then compensation plan should be able to recognize that effort and accordingly compensate the person. And therefore, you have that progressive rate. The person has put so much more effort, and therefore, the percentage of the commission also increases. What is very interesting is another thing, which is regressive rate. Now, what would regressive rate mean? Regressive rate means that, okay, if you sell 10 units, you get 10%. If you sell between 10 to 20 units, you get 8%. And if you sell more than 20 units, you get 5%. Why would a company ever do this? I mean, why would a company like to give a regressive rate? 30 seconds for anyone who would like to contribute or say anything. Any idea why would a company like to put a regressive rate? You know what? Okay. A minute. Yeah, so as I said, regressive rate is at decline. A company would put a regressive rate because there may be many situations. It may so happen that the company has stopped production of that particular good. And therefore, the company does not, but whatever is in stock, the company wants to sell, but at the same time, it does not want the orders to go beyond a point because they've stopped production. And therefore, they want to just dispose of what is there with them right now. So how are they doing? So till the 10 units, they're giving you 10% interest rate. However, if you sell more than 10, between 10 to 20, it decreases to 8%. Now what happens? The salesperson automatically starts putting lesser effort because he sees, hey, I'm putting so much effort, but actually the interest rate is, the commission rate is declining, and therefore he puts in less effort. The moment he puts in less effort, the number of orders that he gets also decreases. And above 20, if we say only 5%, it's a clear message to the salesperson that we don't want you to get too many orders, right? So please understand that a company may have different kinds of commission rates, constant, progressive, and even regressive. Is regressive rate a very normal thing? Not that I know of, but at the same time, we have to be ready for every situation. So for example, one situation which I gave you where the company may have stopped production of a particular good, and therefore it's just the last stock that is left with them, and they want that to be disposed of. So I've told you about fixed salary or straight salary, and then I've told you about commission. But how does it actually work in the corporate world, especially for the sales organization? Well, it's never really fixed salary and never really only commission. It's a combination of two. So what you have is a straight salary plus commission, which is called the variable pay. So we have fixed plus variable. While the fixed ensures that you get a fixed income at the end of every month to take care of your basic needs. Because I keep saying this, I mean, it's extremely important that your compensation takes care of the basic needs. So that fixed income ensures that your basic needs are taken care of. It gives that safety and security to the salesperson. Having said that, the variable pay ensures that the salespeople are compensated according to the effort they put in. The variable pay also ensures that the company is able to differentiate between the salespeople, which means that it is able to identify laggards, core performers, and the star performers. So while one hand you have provided them security, on the other hand, you are also taking care that you are defining the future of the company as well as the present state of the company. And how are you doing this? By the variable pay. A star performer will obviously get more variable pay as compared to a laggard. And therefore, the two people may be at the same position in a company. This ensures they get a different compensation plan. So this is okay. Yeah. However, while that's the financial part, as I said, that compensation plan is both financial as well as non-financial. Now, what happens? Obviously, if a particular star performer or if salesperson number 2 in our example, he keeps doing well in every financial year, then the company identifies him for the growth path. And eventually, after a certain number of years, as per the policy of the organization, he may get a promotion, which means his career, his growth, his position in the company improves, which is motivation for him, which is helping the company define the future. And if you actually see that this promotion, though we call it non-financial, is also a financial thing because it will result in better pay, better benefits for the salesperson. While promotion may be one thing, you may also recognize the efforts of the salespeople by different things. For example, the best salesperson of the year award, because promotion only happens after a certain time. It's not that you perform well in first year and the next year you are promoted. No, you have to show that you are consistent in your performance, at least for a specific number of years, depending on company. Some companies say minimum 3 years or whatever, because you want a person who consistently performs well to be promoted. However, then how do you promote, how do you motivate them for those years? So you may have a best salesperson award, or you may sponsor the education of some salesperson who wants to go for higher education, or you may have some kind of a holiday package, different ways of recognizing the effort of the salesperson and to keep him motivated. So as I said, or you may send them for some seminars, a leadership development program, you may recognize them, and just so many ways. This is not an exhaustive list. This is just some of the ways in which you can do it. In some companies, you are on contract basis till a particular period of time, and when you consistently perform well, then your job is sort of secured. You become a confirmed employee, which again gives them a job security. In short, the non-financial plans further reinforce what the quantitative financial plans are doing, and they help in giving a sense of security, a sense of recognition to the salesperson so that he can continue with the company, while at the same time this ensures that those who are not performing are not really continued with the company. And together, the compensation plan is sort of a result, or the end, not the end, one step before the end of recognizing the efforts of the salespeople who have been given the same workload, who have been given the same sales quota, and yet they perform differently. At this point of time, maybe let me take a break and let me share with you the activity that I want you to do. Up till now, what we have spoken about has been sales organization, sales territory, sales quotas. We have done different numericals in terms of workload, in terms of sale quotas, combination of sales quotas. However, we forgot one thing, and that was like the salespeople. So let me take Pune City, since you're familiar with Pune City, and becomes very important. So if I have 2-3 salespeople under me, and they have to cover in a day, they are located in Viman Nagar, let's assume this is their base, and they have to cover Aund, they have to cover Shivaji Nagar, and they have to cover Koregaon Park. How should they cover? Now, there are various ways. They can start from Viman Nagar, go to Koregaon Park, go to Shivaji Nagar, and then go to Aund, and then come back home to Viman Nagar. Or they may go to Aund, then go to Shivaji Nagar, then go to Koregaon Park, and then come back home to Viman Nagar. However, a salesperson who wants to waste time, and there are many people who would like to, most probably, if you don't, as a sales manager, if you don't give him a direction, if you don't tell him what he's supposed to do, he may go to Aund, come back to Koregaon Park, then again go to Shivaji Nagar, and then finally report to Viman Nagar in the evening. In the process, what has he done? He has wasted the time and effort of the company and of course his own. Not just time and effort, he has wasted the resources of the company, because when he's traveling in the zigzag manner, he is spending more on petrol, he's spending more on traveling, and he would expect the company to reimburse him. And this is not fair. So one of the important things is routing and scheduling of the salespeople. There are many mathematical models to help take care of it. You have done a lot, most probably, in your other classes. However, please understand that this is an area which, as a salesperson, you do need to keep a record of where your salesperson is going. Because when you're finally evaluating your salesperson, this also becomes extremely important. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not teaching you any mathematical formula, but I'm going to share with you, I'm going to put it on the Google Classroom, a small exercise, and I want you to answer that, whatever you think is the correct answer. So I'll put it, but let me show you what I'm talking about. Sorry. Yeah. Is my screen visible? Can someone just say yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You can see your selling day, your time and territory. Is this what is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So this is the exercise I want you to do. So it says that you are on a straight commission. So which means you're not an employee of an organization, you're working as an agent, and you have this opportunity to maximize your income for the day. Now, the area of your territory that you want to cover contains 16 customers, and I'll show you this. So there are 16 customers over here, where the name of the customers are LEF, HMJ, I, so on and so forth, right? And it says to determine the travel time, allow 15 minutes for each side of the square. So what does it mean? If you're traveling from H to M, it takes you 15 minutes. If you are traveling from M to J, it will take you 30 minutes. Okay? So each side of the square is equal to 15 minutes. And this is the only way you can travel. You can't go in horizontal way. Plus it says that each sales call takes 30 minutes. So for example, if you were at H, and then you started from H, you took 15 minutes to reach M, and there at M, you will spend 30 minutes. So total 45 minutes, okay? It says you can leave your house at 8 a.m. or later. I mean, you cannot leave before 8 a.m. It's your choice. You can leave at 8, 9, 10, 11, but not before 8 a.m. And where is your house? Your house is here, okay? And it says, if you can take time for lunch, it must be in 15-minute time blocks. Now, what does it mean? So you can take lunch here. This is your restaurant. You can take lunch for either 15 minutes or 30 minutes or 45 minutes. You cannot say that I'll take lunch for 17 minutes and then start walking away. No. So these are the rules that if you're taking lunch, you can have lunch in 15 minutes or 30 minutes or 45 minutes or 60 minutes or whatever, basically in blocks of 15. And it says that your customers must be contacted by 4:30 p.m., which means that you cannot reach any customer after 4:30 p.m. So you cannot reach B at 4:45 p.m. You can't. You have to latest reach the last customer by 4:30 p.m. Why? Because then you have to spend half an hour over there, and 5 o'clock it ends. After 5 o'clock, you're supposed to just that's the time you travel home after 5 p.m. And these are the sales potential of different clients. Again, we had discussed this. So while if you go to A, for example, we were talking about H and M. Now, if you look over here, if you're able to convince H, you get 6,000. On the sales potential is 6,000. On the other hand, if you're able to convince M, then it is 8,000, and maybe therefore M is more important than H, right? And maybe, I don't know, I mean, that's what you have to decide who's more important. Maybe L is the most important at something like 12,000. So the whole thing is that you have from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, you have to maximize your revenue. Here we are just assuming that if you go and contact someone, you will get the order. So we are making a huge assumption because right now the exercise is not to see your selling skills. The exercise is to see that how you cover maximum number of clients. And therefore, we are assuming that if you reach a client, you will get that order. So if you reach H, you will get that order. So the whole thing is that between 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., we want to know how many clients you can cover in a manner which maximizes the revenue. So what you have to do is that you will tell me the route, whatever the route is, and you have to start from here, obviously. So suppose the route is D, P, I, A, J, M, whatever, and tell that at the end of the day, what is the revenue that you have generated. Okay. So give me a minute. Yeah. So are we clear? Are we clear with this? Any question?
No, ma'am.
Great, fantastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this with you on Google Classroom. Please go over there and answer the question.